Najib should nudge type on corruption videos, says T1M.
What's T1?
It's Transparency International Malaysia.
I thought it was some one Malaysia thing. Who wants this joke?
Me?
Why?
Okay, I think it's very funny because Najib should nudge type on corruption videos. Just nudge only, no?
what do you guys
investigate.
Hey. Wow, come in, never knock one. Is it just because it's your office? What? You can just come in and not knock?
What are you guys doing? Just saying jokes from Malaysia Kini? Is that?
You'll be thinking of jokes, why?
Okay. Yeah. But it's Malaysia Kini, it's a political news portal. How's that funny?
Oh. Have you checked your grammar? That's very funny. Huh?
The grammar is all over the place.
All over the place?
Like, what's that? Mongolian? we need to talk.
Yes, please cut him off.
Dude, commit, man. Commit to it.
No, you do not commit to that. That is terrible. These are the jokes we talk among ourselves in a mama style. We don't put this on TV. What the hell?
You're still recording?
Yes.
Why you talk? You're a camera person, you never talk.
Yeah. Alright, we're with the guys from MACC, the Malaysian Association of Chinese Comedians.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
So, introduce yourselves. And you are, sir?
I'm Chiho. I'm the ugly one. Yeah.
So obvious.
I'm Jason. I'm the newest addition. I joined it out of desperation.
I'm Douglas Lim, the oldest.
Yeah. So what got you guys into this? Comedy, especially.
Into comedy or
Into
Comedy
MACC.
first and then MACC.
Alright.
Okay. Well, I think before we continue, MACC, just to clarify, it's not a group. A lot of people think we're a group.
Alright.
No, we're 4 individual comics. We do other shows.
Okay.
This is that every year we come together about, I think, twice a year or 3 times to do a show.
Alright.
And we market it. We label it MACC because when we first started, the MACC was really famous. The proper MACC, and so we use that as leverage for our marketing purposes.
Okay.
Since then, people are confused. They say, "Hey, aren't you guys a group?" We're not really. We're 4 individual comics. We don't even do a sketch together. We, you know, Jason comes out first, then Chiho, then Jenhan, and myself. So we don't actually do anything together.
So what do you think about the politicians in Malaysia, generally?
Okay,
They
okay.
are, they are very,
Vocal, you would say.
Wow, Chiho.
yeah.
Wow, you really wasted man, my God,
Bro,
You do it once, okay lah. It's a joke. This is like every time. Do you not have any words in your head
brain
before it comes out of your mouth?
See, he just summarized how politicians are. Basically, they actually do not.
I think politicians are slightly better than you, lah.
Do you think we've actually achieved that state yet, where leaders are okay with comedians making jokes of them?
I think so far we have not been arrested. So
Do you guys get arrested for the materials you do?
arrest?
Arrest.
Sometimes
Like-
by the audience members themselves, lah. But
Okay.
by politicians, never.
So nobody
lah.
writes to you like a complaint, like stop doing this?
Complaints, well, complaints.
No, God lah.
Got lah, complaints one or two.
No, but again, it's from an audience, and then if you give an audience of 400 people, and 398 are laughing and 2 guys feel offended,
Right.
then I think you have to check yourself and go, okay, what's the problem here? You know, I mean, if you're looking around and you see, okay, the Malaysian,
Everybody's laughing,
here,
yeah.
okay, so why am I offended? Are you
Okay.
maybe being too sensitive,
Yeah.
or because a lot of times, I mean, as Jimmy Carr said, offense is very rarely given. Offense is usually taken. So we don't have any malice. I think that's one thing that has to be very clear.
Okay.
When a comedian talks and when we're doing our set and our jokes and everything, there is no malice intended.
Right.
We don't want to change your political view. We don't want to get you to do something you don't want to do.
Okay.
You want to laugh? We are here to provide. And that's it. It's it's a very simple economic structure.
So you're saying it's simple, so you don't feel the responsibility to sort of inform the public, because if you look at more mature democracy like US or UK,
Right.
there's shows like Jon Stewart, and that's actually more popular than daily news shows, so most people get the news from that. So do you feel that there is a void in Malaysia, or you think that doesn't come into play at all?
I think for now we don't really have that huge a responsibility. We're just
Okay.
entertainers and just there to make people laugh. And also I think Malaysians are not ready to take instruction or grounded advice from jokers like us, lah.
Right.
And I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I don't want them to come in serious man. Okay, what does Jason have to tell me about the State of the Union? I don't want that, lah.
Right.
Just leave things outside, come and enjoy the show.
So you don't feel like there's a need for comedians to put things into perspective because you guys are able to do that somehow with your humor?
I think a lot of the audience, normally when we make a joke about a certain political party, they tend to think that, oh, so you guys support the political party.
Yeah, correct.
They tend to think that, but actually no, we're just going for what we think
It's funny.
it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, if people laugh at this political party more, we tend to gravitate towards that political party in terms of material.
I think if you look at the way or when comedy kind of started, or the most popular form of comedy and spoofs and parody and stuff like that, it actually as far as evidence goes, you see a lot of it being done in Greece when democracy first started. And so what happened was the comedians or the actors would actually do parodies and spoofs of the politicians of that time as a way to keep them in check. So the politician was being a bit of a doo-doo in Parliament or in the Senate, and he was causing some problems and people didn't like him. Or rather, the general population, they don't know how to read, so they don't know what he's doing. Then they will go to these plays and these comedy shows, and the comedians would actually show the public, this is the clown you elected. So next time, be careful. So they had a very big duty, I feel. Nowadays, we've got the media, you've got other politicians.
So you don't think comedians play a prominent role anymore in terms of informing?
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct. Whereas in the United States, because they're very mature, so they are able to take all these shows into account. But for us, not yet. And even if we are, like Douglas said, we don't. I wouldn't want to. I just want to go out there and have fun. I don't want to have such a heavy responsibility. Like, Jason said this, next week headlines change, whatever. No.
Right.
Yeah, we're not activists. We're not. We got asked like, "Where are you? Are you pro BN or anti?" I said, "No, we are. I think we are pro comedy, anti stupidity. That's all we are."
So you're just in the business of making people laugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, then again, you say, okay, so these political jokes, or why you guys do so many political jokes? It comes down to before Malaysia Kini came up. Before alternative media came out, a lot of people didn't know what was happening. You see, so politics was there in the back burner, and only few hardcore people were really involved in it and understood what it was about. Instant Cafe, Indy and Ellen,
Comedy Court.
Comedy Court, they could talk about it because the rest of us really didn't know what was going on. So now that politics have been brought to the forefront with alternative media and with younger people getting involved and talking about it, so then now that has become one of the topics for comedy, apart from husband and wife relationships, penis sizes.
Why we cannot understand women?
Why we cannot understand? It's the same thing lah. The Proton Saga.
But the thing is, stand-up comedy is art which is reflecting the status of society at the time being lah. So now Malaysia is so politicized. We have to talk about it. To give you an instance, when we went to Penang, right? This was like 2 weeks after the whole are you ready for side, right? So opening show, he did the voice of God over like, are you ready for comedy? Are you ready for comedy? People start laughing already because it's there. You have to talk about it. If you don't talk, people are like, hey, why? There's a void.
So doing comedy in Malaysia, have you had to censor yourself? Like, where do you draw the line? How do you know your jokes are not too far that it would offend people?
Well,
has it ever occurred to you?
The best thing about comedy is that there's instant feedback. Unlike you sing a song, you record on radio or TV. So the audience immediately, that is your feedback. If the audience go, boo, you know that's gone too far. Censorship-wise, I think
I think we should let Chiho answer this question because usually he has a lot of problems
about censorship. Alright, okay. Chiho?
Well, it depends. Really, where you're doing a show. If you wanna, because I think where we make our money is other than doing shows, actually we do corporate shows. And in corporate shows, we do feel the need that we have to censor certain things, and the club shows you have more liberty to be yourself more.
Chiho, the reason why
he didn't even understand the question. He didn't even answer the question. No.
Because Chiho is one of the few fellas here who would purposely go for the sickest possible joke and cause the most number of unrest. He got scolded by an auntie in Penang.
and the joke is too disturbing to be shown on Malaysia KiniTV.
So, and all of you have performed abroad. The audience there, are they any different from local audiences? Do you feel that you could do more? you can push further outside.
Well, definitely the audience abroad is different from Malaysian. The very obvious difference is that over there, let's say you perform in let's say Hong Kong or Singapore or Jakarta, they're not going to get our local political humour.
Right.
They're not going to know who's
our cultural context.
Our cultural context also they won't. So there, it's more of like international stuff lah. Okay. And of course, we can't go there and make fun of their politics, because who the hell are you to go there and make the politics like, in terms of political humour lah. That's why it's a bit different lah.
I think also overseas, the audience they're more appreciative of the person who's on stage performing.
Okay.
Whereas here in Malaysia, it's more like, alright, come and try to impress me lah. You know, I'm here for my drinks and I want to talk to my friends. What are you doing up there? You know.
So you see that in countries where there is more leeway in terms of people talking on TV, talking about politics, making comments, stuff like that. When a comic does it in a venue, people are like, no lah, tell me about yourself, about your family. What is your story? I want to hear that. Don't tell me what's happening in the country. I know what's happening in the country. It's everywhere.
Right.
So in the States, you don't see comics in clubs do any political humor. Why? Because you've got the Jon Stewarts and you've got the Lettermans doing it every day. In Malaysia, the other way around. You go on a stage and then you start talking about my grandmother. People will be like, "Dude, I don't care about grandma, man.
I also got grandma.
Tell me what I want to know about my culture, about racism. Tell me about the political statement. Tell me about how we treat each other. How about our economic status and where the country is going and why until now after no election. You know, they want that. They don't care about your grandma. Although my grandma is very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, she is. She is very nice, grandma.
So how tough is it to be a comic in Malaysia? Do you guys find it hard?
Now people don't laugh at your joke.
Sometimes you get complaints.
So as comedians, would you encourage more people to sort of step up and do more in terms of comedy?
Okay. It's good for the scene in the sense that more people try and do comedy, and then the comedy scene will get bigger lah. Hopefully, theoretically, the pie will get bigger and everybody gets a slice.
Explain that, Jason. Seriously, no.
Okay.
How does that work? Though? How does more supply create more demand?
More supply means more people perform, and then there are more shows, and then the audience for comedy grows bigger, and then the people who have corporations go, hey, next time I should hire a stand-up.
But won't they be taking all your gigs?
And then after they go to you and say, hey, Douglas, you're the best. So that's how lah, I think. He just must ask, you know. But what I will say though is
zero economic qualification.
No, a doctor. So I'm just trying to say that if you want to be a stand-up comedian, go ahead. I'm a product from the open mic scene anyway, thanks to Chiho. He regrets it now. And but one thing I just will say, if you're open micer or whatever, just don't be funnier than me lah. That's all.
Would you like to add to that?
It's not difficult to be funnier than Jason. So you should really control yourself.
So how healthy do you think the current scene is in terms of comedy in Malaysia?
Well, in terms of, there's definitely a lot of interest and a lot of shows going on. A lot of people are interested, but there's still a lot of companies, event companies, so they don't know how to present this whole idea of stand-up comedy to their clients, you know. So you can see there are a lot more corporate shows happening in town, which they're still using like singers and dancers, and no stand-up comedians. They've not really bought into the idea of bringing a stand-up comedian to the show yet. So in terms of whether it's a good scene or not, it depends. I mean, on the one hand, you get a lot of people who are interested in stand-up comedy, but on the other hand, we still get a lot of event companies who are still diving into having a stand-up comedian in the show for the first time. We're still getting that.
Okay. So to answer that.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Like that.
Did you hear what he just said?
Nothing. I saw what. No. Yes, we are still we are getting agents who really first time, and we still do shows where the audience has no idea what you're doing.
Okay.
They think you're giving a speech, and they go, "Hey, good speech, bro." They don't know what's going on. They don't know that this is the art form. But then thanks to the internet, Russell Peters, everything, YouTube. So that has garnered a lot of interest. So because of that, we get asked to do more corporate shows. However, that being said, stand-up comedy is actually one of the most demanding forms of entertainment for the audience, not just for the entertainer. Because as the audience, you really have to be invested.
Okay.
You got to sit there, keep quiet, listen, and follow. You cannot like people sing song. You like the song, you listen. Don't like the song, you talk to your friend. Next nice song come on, you listen back. Cannot. In stand-up comedy, you miss means you miss.
Right.
You see, so there's a lot of things that an audience has to do to enjoy stand-up comedy. You must know certain things, and you must understand the language the comedian is speaking. There are so many times we go do a show, and most of them either are foreigners or it's mixed, a mixed bunch. You get 3 fellas from Japan, 3 fellas from Taiwan, some fellas from India, some Venezuelans there, and then what do you want? English is not their first language for most of them, and so you don't know what to do, and then the show obviously will die.
Yeah.
It will crash and burn. But so for us again, we are on like, so what do we say? When we find out, so we say, okay, we don't want. We don't want to do. No, that's not a way to grow an industry. You say do lah, you do, and you get killed lah.
Like
sometimes we get things like your event management guy come up to you and say like, oh, the audience love it, the VIPs don't understand, so can we pay you half? So there's some problems like that sometimes.
My typical story, right? The company hires a stand-up comedian. You go there, you perform, and halfway through, like a 20-minute set, the tables, all 5 of them yam saying. Like they're obviously like yam saying. You think they're applauding, they're cheering among themselves. They don't care what you have done,
Right.
And so the audience, like I said, I think the difference between a really good corporate entertainer and the rest of it is like they know how to make the audience invested.
So
sometimes, I just want to add that sometimes, we even go to the extent of telling event management people to please don't bring out any food throughout our performance.
Right.
Because I think in Malaysia, you cannot fight food. When something like a prawns come out, prawns, again, it's a food that you need to invest a lot of.
Yeah.
You take out everything, and then suddenly you miss the joke. I don't care,
prawns, man.
Prawns.
When I'm performing and the prawns come out, what the hell, man? That's how annoying when the prawn comes out. Similar. You're doing something and then the prawns come out. I also feel I want to just eat the prawn. I don't want to perform anymore. What's the point? The prawns are out. That's a really it's a show breaker.
Right.
Or you get people who then open the door and announce that you can go outside and get your
Free ticket.
your
parking stand validated,
or your photograph that you took earlier. Like, is that important?
Alright, I'll have to cut you guys here. That's all the time we have.
Alright.
Very funny.
3,